It was the day before the deadline for internal transfer requests. That's when I found it. An application to transfer me to a branch office 1,000 miles away. The applicant was listed as Rachel, my mentor at work, and also my girlfriend. A chill ran down my spine. With a trembling hand, I dialed her number. She was nonchalant. "Oh, Caden submitted that for me. He said he was just pulling a prank on you. Just cancel the request yourself." Caden, the intern who had all but forced Rachel to become his mentor. I gripped the phone, silent for a full minute. So, the career I had painstakingly built for 5 years was just a punchline to someone else's joke. I didn't argue. I just calmly packed my things and, when the time came, headed to the branch office. But Rachel was the one who panicked. "Didn't I tell you to cancel the application? You didn't cancel it?" "Nope." When I discovered my position had been transferred to a branch office 1,000 miles away, I froze in front of my computer. I had made it clear to Rachel. During this round of transfers, I was going to stay in the marketing department she led and be her second in command. That was the career path we had planned out 3 years ago. But now, the system showed I was being reassigned to the Los Angeles branch. If I hadn't checked in time, I wouldn't have even had the chance to cancel it. I took a deep breath and called Rachel. Her reply was careless, as if she were talking about something completely trivial. "Oh, that? Caden said he wanted to play a joke on you, to see if you'd spot it before the transfer deadline. The deadline hasn't passed yet. Just remember to cancel it." Rachel said it also casually. I clenched the phone, my voice tight. "So, you think this is just a little thing? Are you starting to get difficult again?" Rachel's patience was wearing thin. "Is it really that big of a deal? Just cancel it. Caden's just a little high energy. He was only messing with you." I stared at the notification on the screen, my throat dry. And what if I hadn't noticed in time? Caden was abusing system privileges. I could report him to HR. Rachel's tone turned icy. "Leo, I swear, you're becoming more and more unreasonable. It was just a joke. And you want to report him? When are you going to learn to be a little more forgiving with him?" She grew more agitated as she spoke. "I've explained it to you so many times. He's a fresh grad, an intern with no one to lean on in the professional world. As his mentor, what's wrong with me looking out for him a little more? If you're going to file a complaint, you might as well file one against me too." The line went dead. I was speechless. Felt like the blood in my veins had turned to ice. From college to our careers, Rachel and I had known each other for 7 years and been together for 5. She was my girlfriend and, in a way, my professional mentor. I thought back to when I first started my career. I almost tanked a major project, and she stayed up all night with me, her eyes focused as she helped me revise the proposal. Then I remembered the company party that year. A guy was using being drunk as an excuse to harass me, and she grabbed his wrist and squeezed until he begged for forgiveness. Afterward, she draped her coat over my shoulders, and with the utmost gentleness, she asked me if I wanted to be her boyfriend. For 5 years, I had gotten used to having her by my side. Everyone said we were a perfect match, made for each other. We had even met each other's parents and were getting ready to talk about marriage. Everything should have gone smoothly, but now, staring at the screen, all it would take was a single click of the mouse to retract that application. But her words echoed in my head. It was just a joke. A heavy wave of exhaustion washed over me, rising from the depths of my heart. I was suddenly so tired of it all. After a moment of daze, there was a knock on my door. I looked up. It was Caden. He was standing in the doorway, a smirk on his face. "Hey, Leo," he began, his voice deliberately low. "I just finished my report to Rachel. She seems pretty down and said she wanted to go out for a drink. I came to ask, is it okay if I go with her?" He was direct, his words almost polite, but he couldn't hide the smugness in his eyes. For the past 6 months, he'd been putting on this act in front of me, playing the humble intern, hiding his ambition, but unable to contain his self-satisfaction. I watched him quietly, wondering, when exactly did Rachel change? Why did she favor a guy like this, who was so obviously fake and manipulative? First, Rachel couldn't stand Caden. She said he was flighty and irresponsible and wouldn't make it past his internship. That changed after an important client meeting when Rachel had a sudden, acute stomach issue. I was out of town on business at the time. I heard Caden was so worried his eyes were red, and he stayed by her side in the hospital for 2 whole days without sleep. After that, Rachel's attitude toward him changed completely. They grew closer, and Caden started calling Rachel his mentor. Eventually, everyone at work knew Rachel had a work son, and I was jokingly called the official husband. Whenever I heard that joke, my face would turn cold. Rachel, however, didn't care. She'd just laugh and pinch my cheek. Official, not official, don't listen to their nonsense. I only love you. Now, could she still guarantee she loved me? I smirked, looking at Caden with irony. He was still smiling. Leo, are you upset? Before he could finish, Rachel strode over. Caden, didn't I tell you to wait for me in the conference room? What are you doing here? I just wasn't sure if I should say yes to you. Caden twisted his fingers together nervously, as if terrified of making her angry. So I wanted to come and see what Leo thought. Rachel's expression immediately softened. I want you to come with me. Do I need someone else's permission for that? But Caden looked down, the corner of his mouth twitching into a barely perceptible smile, while still maintaining a hesitant posture. Rachel looked at me, her gaze impatient. Hasn't Caden been respectful enough? He even comes to ask you before going out for a meal with me. And you're still fussing over a little joke. She still thought them changing my transfer request without my permission was a trivial prank, and that I was the one being unreasonable. But why? Why should I have to accept a joke like this? I let out a cold laugh. Respectful? Have you really not noticed all the flirty little games he's been playing with you for the last 6 months? Bringing you breakfast and writing you notes every day in front of the whole office. Fawning over you like a lost puppy, you call that having boundaries? He practically begged you to be his mentor. If he's not embarrassed, everyone else who has to watch it is disgusted. This whole phony act, you really can't see through it at all? The color drained from Caden's face. His shoulders began to tremble slightly, tears welling up in his eyes. Rachel's face turned grim. Leo, why have you become so aggressive? She suddenly let out a sneer, her tone mocking. With an attitude like this, you think you're the official husband? Honey, you wouldn't even make the C-list. It felt like something sharp had pierced my heart. A sudden, searing pain. I never thought Rachel would humiliate me like that. Who did she think she was, the queen? The C-list? Was that her way of breaking up with me? I stared at Rachel without blinking. Her expression wavered, and she was the first to look away. I knew that, like me, she was thinking of all the time we had spent together. For years, we had relied on each other, never hurting one another. But this time, Rachel had truly changed. Her heart had completely tilted toward Caden. Caden is a good kid, he won't really take it to heart. Just give him a simple apology, and this will all be over. With that single sentence, the trust and intimacy we had built over 5 years came crashing down. I calmly shook my head. Not happening. Rachel's tone turned sharp and cold. Leo, are you really going to be like this? I was slightly taken aback. Like what? Everything she was saying felt absurd. Suddenly, any desire to argue vanished. This is who I've always been. With that, I turned around and slammed the door behind me with a loud bang. Sitting at my desk, I found myself staring at the transfer system again. Only an hour left. In 1 hour, my transfer application would be locked in, impossible to cancel. I would have to leave the city I had lived in for so long and go to Los Angeles. But I still didn't cancel it. I just looked at it silently for a while, then started searching for everything I could find about the LA branch. Before I knew it, the final deadline had passed. Looking at the application status on the screen, which now read locked, I let out a soft breath. Turns out, leaving Rachel wasn't so terrifying after all. In fact, there was a sense of lightness, of relief. My phone screen lit up. It was my best friend, Mike. He sent a series of furious texts. Leo, I just ran into your girlfriend, Rachel, and that Caden kid, with a bunch of people from their department. They're wasted. They're all egging her on to link arms and drink with Caden. Damn it, That kid is practically all over her. A video followed. The picture was shaky, the lighting dim and moody. Rachel was in the center of a booth, surrounded by people. Her shirt collar slightly open, a smile on her face. Caden was right beside her, his cheeks flushed. He was looking down shyly amidst the cheers, but he made no move to pull away. A voice shouted, "Rachel, you can't break the rules. If you lose, you either pick a guy to link arms with for a drink, or you have to call Leo and have him come pick you up. Your choice." Ha ha ha. Yeah, call him. Let's see if our star manager will do you the favor. The atmosphere reached a fever pitch. Everyone knew we were fighting and was happy to stir the pot. Hearing this, Caden looked up at her, his eyes full of hope. Rachel frowned, seemingly annoyed by the ruckus. She was silent for a few seconds, then pulled out her phone. Caden's face went white. On the other end, her voice was stiff. "I was a bit heated earlier. Calm down now. Come over here, apologize to Caden in person, and I'll pretend tonight never happened." I said nothing. Rachel's patience ran out quickly. "Say something. Is it that hard for you to just bow your head a little? Rachel, if you want an apology from me, you can forget it." "Fine. Leo, you've got guts." Rachel's anger was fully ignited. "Then you can just listen on the phone while I link arms and drink with someone else." I hung up. At the same time, a new video from Mike came through. The scene was a mess. Rachel had smashed a glass. Caden's voice was trembling, tears on the verge of falling. "Rachel, let's stop playing, don't be angry." "Who said I'm not playing?" Rachel shot her head up, her gaze sharp as it pierced toward the camera. She had spotted Mike long ago. "What are you hiding for? Keep filming. Let your good friend see exactly who I'm kissing right now." She suddenly grabbed the back of Caden's neck. Amid the gasps of the crowd, she kissed him hard. Seeing that, my heart still inevitably clenched. But the sharp pain came and went quickly. I closed the video and continued with the work I hadn't finished. A long while later, I sent a message to Mike. "Want to go shopping with me tomorrow for some lighter clothes? It's hot in LA." Rachel and I were in a full-blown Cold War. Before it started, her last message to me was, "Did you cancel the transfer request? None of your business. You'll definitely cancel it. We've been together for 5 years. You can't live without me. Leo, you have to apologize to Caden. Until you apologize to him, I'm not saying another word to you." I just blocked her. 3 days before I was due in Los Angeles, Rachel's assistant suddenly came to see me, holding an invitation. "Mr. Davis, Ms. Rachel is hosting a success party tonight. She insists that you attend." Couldn't get out of it, so I had to go. But I was a little confused. Why was Rachel throwing a party right now? The moment I stepped into the banquet hall, I understood. It was a double celebration. Caden was standing at the entrance, beaming. When he saw me, he said warmly, "Leo, you're finally here. Come on in, this is a joint party for me and Rachel." His tone was light. "Today's the day I became a full-time employee, so I begged Rachel to move her project party to today so we could celebrate together and I could soak up some of the good vibes." I was a bit speechless but didn't say anything more. Our breakup was a given at this point. I didn't have the energy to react to this kind of gloating. I found a seat in a corner, just wanting to wait quietly until I could leave. But Rachel found me. She paced in front of me, her tone irritated. "Leo, what are you doing hiding here? Go to the main table." I refused. Rachel took a deep breath, suppressing her displeasure. "You've had me blocked for 10 days. Are you still not over it? Do you have to embarrass me in a setting like this?" I met her with silence. She practically gritted her teeth and whispered, "At what party have you not sat by my side? Is it really worth making such a scene over something so small?" Her voice attracted the attention of others. Seeing the situation, a few colleagues hurried over to smooth things over, half persuading, half pulling me to the main table. Rachel's expression eased slightly. There was an empty seat reserved next to her. A moment later, Caden arrived, looking young and vibrant. "Leo, you're here." He smiled, his eyes crinkling. "Rachel and I were just talking about the department's team building event. She said she's going to take me hiking. You should come too, Leo, right?" My fingers paused. I remembered not long ago, Rachel had promised that after the project was over, she would take me to a mountaintop to watch the sunrise, where she would propose to me in a special way. Her ears had been red then, her tone uncharacteristically nervous and solemn. Now my heart was racing again, but this time from a wave of nausea. I remembered the video from the bar that night, of them kissing passionately. You guys go. I'm busy with handover work and won't have the time. I raised my glass, my gaze calm and steady. A spark lit up in Caden's eyes, and his grin almost reached his ears. Rachel's face, however, darkened. Under the table, she gripped my wrist fiercely. After the banquet, Rachel cornered me outside the restroom. Leo, what was your problem tonight? No problem. How long are you going to keep this up? You already canceled the transfer request. Caden even said he was going to tell you about it that day, but you found out first. Even if you hadn't, he would have reminded you. Really? I didn't believe it. Caden was full of schemes. Why would he ever remind me? But I really didn't want to say another word to Rachel about it. I replied faintly, well, thank him for me then. Don't you dare use that sarcastic tone with me. She hissed. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., I'm picking you up to go hiking. I promised you this a long time ago. After she said her piece, she stormed off. At 8 a.m. the next day, I stood by the window, watching the two of them downstairs, ready to go. Rachel called my phone. I declined it immediately. Leo, keep playing your games. She yelled in my direction. Since you insist on being this way, I'm never taking you out again. After shouting, she turned and left with Caden. My social media feed was flooded with their hiking photos all weekend, giving the new guy an outdoor experience. Perseverance is the first lesson in the workplace. The mountain path is tough. Sometimes you have to give a helping hand. The view from the top is nice, but not as good as the smile of the youth beside me. Youth is invincible. Every post was filled with likes and suggestive comments from colleagues. Huh? Why is it Caden this time? Where's Leo? Looks like the official husband's position is in jeopardy. Youth is great, so much energy. Rachel's a lucky one. Rachel, take it easy on the handsome young guy. Don't be too hard on him, winky face. Mike was furious, shoving his phone screen in my face. That cheater is definitely doing this on purpose. She's just trying to mess with you. Mess with me? I felt nothing. In fact, I found it a little laughable. The reporting day arrived as scheduled. When the plane landed, a wave of hot, humid air hit me, carrying a scent completely different from the north. In the morning, as I was adjusting to the almost too bright southern sun, my dad called. Leo, Rachel came over to the house first thing this morning. She insists you're still hiding from her. What's going on with you two? My heart sank. Damn it. I was planning to tell my dad about the breakup gradually. I never expected Rachel to ruin it. My dad's voice was full of confusion. I told her you already left yesterday, but she doesn't believe me. She insists on coming upstairs to look for you. The background of the call was noisy. I could vaguely hear Rachel's anxious, impatient voice. Sir, please don't cover for him. Tell him to stop messing around. Doesn't he know what day it is? He can't let being mad get in the way of important things. My dad explained, Rachel, Leo really is gone. I was the one who drove him to the airport yesterday. Yesterday? The airport? Rachel's voice stopped abruptly, filled with a sudden, stunned shock. What was he doing at the airport? Wasn't he transferred? My dad's voice grew even more puzzled. He's going to the LA branch to report for duty. Didn't you know? The other end of the line fell into a dead silence. All I could hear was Rachel's breathing, suddenly heavy and ragged with disbelief, as if someone had her by the throat. I didn't listen any further. I calmly hung up the phone. My new job began. After the initial discomfort, I started to enjoy the southern breeze, the southern trees, and even the southern flowers. People have to adapt to their environment. For many years, my life had revolved around Rachel. Now, I was alone in a strange city, taking steps toward a brand new life. But Rachel came. She cornered me in a hallway at the branch office, her eyes dark-rimmed and bloodshot. Why? She gritted her teeth. trying to keep her lips from trembling. I sighed and walked around her. She grabbed my hand with all her strength, her voice hoarse. Just because Caden played one joke on you, you're gonna do this to me? Yes. I stared at her, just as I had for the past 5 years. Only this time there was no emotion. Yes. I'm petty. I can't take a joke. I gave Rachel an explanation. Her jaw trembled. Leo, you can't do this. You know I can't live without you. I only see Caden as my mentee. Kissing him at the bar was just to save face. Posting all those pictures of our hike was just to make you see them, to make you jealous. Her nose stung, her voice growing hoarser. You're so cruel. You gave me a fatal blow without a word. Why didn't you cancel the application? That joke. Was it really that serious? I watched her quietly, then shook my head. Fine. The joke actually wasn't that serious. Rachel froze, staring at me. I asked her a question. Do you remember 6 months ago during that big project when you and Caden went to karaoke? Do you know where I was? In the company lobby. You must have been there waiting for me, right? Rachel was smart. I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone to karaoke that night. I should have come to find you. I was silent for a long time, then slowly pushed her hand away. Rachel, that night Mr. Roberts came back. Rachel's whole body stiffened, a visible worry spreading across her face as she threw her arms around me. Did he harass you? Yeah. I was waiting for you in the lobby. Mr. Roberts forced me into the elevator, touching my hand over and over, humiliating me with every word. I smiled, as if telling a story about someone else. He called me a prude, said I should be happy to drink with clients. The smell of alcohol on me was disgusting, and the fear in my heart was deep. Hearing this, Rachel began to tremble. Her pupils constricted, and her fists clenched and unclenched, like a she-wolf on the verge of madness. I looked down at her, my gaze lifeless. That night I was really scared. And you? You had your eyes closed, resting against Caden, sleeping soundly. You missed 11 of my calls. Rachel let out a pained cry. She slammed her fist against the nearby wall, her jaw clenched tight. I sniffed, but it's okay. I'm fine now. I've never been better. Let's just go our separate ways. And thank Caden for me. I accept his joke. I really like Los Angeles. I don't know when Rachel left. In any case, she didn't bother me again. A week later, a colleague told me that Mr. Roberts' company had its contract terminated. They said it was due to compliance violations. I knew immediately it was Rachel's doing. She was smart and knew how to vent her anger while achieving her goal. I didn't pay it much mind. I just focused on enjoying my new job. I went home for the Thanksgiving holiday and ran into Caden right outside my house. He was waiting for me. Our eyes met. The smugness in his was gone, replaced only by jealousy and resentment. Leo, you won. Rachel won't let me near her anymore. His words were filled with bitterness. I just don't get it. What is it about you that she finds so attractive? Are you better looking than me? Are you younger? Are you better at charming her? He stepped closer, staring at me. You're not better than me at anything. You only won because you met her earlier. I was getting annoyed. What are you even blabbering about? Venmo me $2,000. Caden was stunned for a second, then sneered. You're so proud of yourself. Too bad you're in LA, and I'm still in Rachel's department. So what if she loves you? 1,000 miles is enough to create countless cracks in a relationship, and I've got the home field advantage. We'll see who wins in the end. He was declaring war. I was so tired of hearing it. I turned to leave. She's all yours. Go on, go get a room with Rachel. I'll even pay for it. Caden froze again, and from the shadows of a corner, a haggard figure emerged. Rachel's face was pale, her eyes lifeless. The image of a workplace elite was long gone. I stopped and looked at her calmly. Caden, however, was in a panic, fixing his hair and forcing a smile. Rachel, you're here too. I was just passing by. Get out. Rachel's voice was low and suppressed. Tears instantly welled up in Caden's eyes as he cried and grabbed her arm. Rachel, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come looking for Leo on my own. But I couldn't help it. Why am I not as good as him? Why? I said. Get out. Caden left, dejected. Rachel stared at me, speechless for a long time. I finally decided to go inside, which prompted her to speak. Leo, I'm planning to resign and find a job in LA. I'm going to win you back. I remained silent. Rachel forced a smile. I know I made a huge mistake, so I'm ready to atone for it. Wait for me in LA. I will definitely come find you. She was so earnest, as if she were taking an oath. But I didn't need her vows. I was still silent. Rachel grew anxious. Leo, give me a chance. I really can't live without you. I'll come find you and we can start over. Okay? No, I had no desire for that. For a long time, I had looked forward to building a family with Rachel, to fighting alongside her. But now I just wished she would stop bothering me. So I let out a very soft sigh. Rachel, do you really think this is worth it? Rachel nearly lost her footing, unable to say another word. Finally, she stumbled away, disappearing into the darkness of the night. I went home, gave my dad his gift, and had a wonderful night's sleep. After the holiday, I returned to Los Angeles. My dad was reluctant to see me go. I just told him 3 years at most and I'll be back. My dad said he would support whatever decision I made, as long as I was happy. So I threw myself back into my work. I'm a relatively laid-back person and never had huge ambitions. After starting my career, I always had Rachel to guide me, so I lacked initiative. Now, on my own, I found I had developed some ambition after all. I had to become the general manager of the branch office. I had to get it. 2 years later, I was promoted smoothly and began aiming for higher positions. I went home several times during that period but rarely saw Rachel. Mike told me that Rachel had given up on resigning and stayed at the original company. She worked herself to the bone every day, deaf to the outside world. She had plenty of unwanted admirers, thanks to her beautiful face and position. As for Caden, he kept pestering Rachel and had become the office laughingstock. Due to his repeated inappropriate behavior, he was eventually fired. It just goes to show the workplace isn't for romantic drama. You have to be professional. I never started dating again. I just didn't have the interest. Late at night, I would sometimes remember the focused profile of the woman who handed me coffee 5 years ago. But then I'd just smile to myself. I had long since made my peace with it. Another 2 years passed. I was transferred back to headquarters as a senior executive. A huge leap in my career. The trials and tribulations of the past years had become the fertile ground that nurtured a professional's growth. I was a completely different person. Back at headquarters, my old colleagues didn't recognize me. They greeted me nervously. "Good morning, Mr. Davis." I smiled slightly. "Mr. Davis?" I liked the sound of that. "You can just call me Leo," I replied calmly. During a meeting, I was surprised to see Rachel there. She had matured a lot, a hint of weariness in her eyes, but she was still as beautiful as ever. Our eyes met. She was visibly startled. Then her expression became complicated. After the meeting, she waited for me outside the conference room. "Leo, congratulations," she said, her voice sincere with a touch of melancholy. I nodded in acknowledgement. "Thanks." We walked side by side down the hall like we had years ago, but it was completely different. "I've been waiting for you to come back," Rachel said softly. "These past few years, there hasn't been a day I haven't regretted it." I stopped and looked at her. "Rachel, it's all in the past." "It's not." Her emotions suddenly flared. "I've tried, I really have. It's not over." "Leo, can we start again, please?" I looked at the pain and hope in her eyes and suddenly felt a sense of release. "Rachel, do you know how I got to where I am today?" She shook her head. "Because of that joke." I smiled. "I'm grateful to Caden, grateful for that joke. It pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me realize I could do just fine on my own. Love isn't everything in life, work is. You taught me that, remember?" Rachel stood frozen, 1,000 emotions flashing in her eyes. Finally, she gave a bitter smile and nodded. "Yes, I taught you that, but I never thought you'd learn the lesson so well." 3 months later, the company held its annual gala. As a new executive, I had to give a speech. The audience was packed. I saw many familiar faces, including Rachel's. After my speech, the room erupted in applause. I smiled and gave my thanks, my gaze sweeping across the crowd, suddenly landing on a young man. He was looking at me with admiration and longing, just like I had when I first started my career. During the dinner, that boy mustered the courage to approach me. "Mr. Davis, I'm a new intern. Can I ask you a question?" I nodded with a smile. "Of course. What do you think is the biggest challenge for men in the workplace?" I thought for a moment, then looked over at Rachel, who was chatting with someone in the distance. "The biggest challenge is not letting your life revolve around one woman." The boy nodded as if he partially understood. Rachel seemed to sense my gaze and turned to look at us. I raised my glass to her in a toast, then said to the boy, "Remember, your value doesn't need to be defined by anyone. Not even the person you trust the most gets to decide your future." The boy's eyes shone as he nodded vigorously. "Thank you, Mr. Davis. I'll remember that." Rachel started walking toward us, but she took a call midway through. Her face changed, and she left abruptly. I found out the next day that the call was from a hospital. Caden had attempted suicide. Apparently, his life had been difficult for the past few years. He had repeatedly asked Rachel for help, but she had refused every time. A week later, I was CC'd on Rachel's resignation letter. She had decided to leave the company and start her own business down south. Before she left, she came to my office. "I'm leaving," she said calmly. "Going to Austin." I was a bit surprised. Why the sudden decision to resign? That phone call made me realize some things. Rachel said with a bitter smile. "I always thought I owed you, but I actually owe Caden too. I bear some responsibility for him ending up where he is today. But I can't take responsibility in that way anymore." She looked at me, her eyes clear. "Leo, you taught me a very important lesson. Everyone has to be responsible for their own choices. I will handle things with Caden the right way." I nodded. "I wish you the best." Rachel walked to the door, then turned back. "Leo, I'm asking one last time, are we—" "Rachel," I interrupted her softly. "Do you remember what you once told me? The biggest mistake you can make in life is looking back." She froze for a second, then smiled, a look of release in her eyes. "Yes, I did say that." She turned and left. I walked to the window and watched her car drive out of the company gates, getting smaller and smaller in the distance. My phone buzzed. It was a notification for a new project kickoff meeting. I picked up my notebook and walked toward the conference room. Outside, the sun was shining brightly.